Hey guys, namaste and welcome back to our YouTube channel Tutor Pratik. As in our previous session, we learned about combinators and various selectors in it, which are used for creating the relationship between two HTML elements for selecting specific elements that we can give the property for that selected individual elements. And today's session, we are going to learn about attribute selectors. The CSS attribute selector makes possible to style HTML elements that we have given the specific attributes or attribute values. So by using the CSS attribute selectors, we can select any individual elements that have its specific attribute or its specific attribute values, and we can give our properties for that specific element. So today's session will be very interesting if you want to give some properties for specific element among a lot of elements inside your web page. So before we start, if you still haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell button that it will be notified whenever we publish our new session videos. So let's start today's session. Here in our web page, we have created one paragraph, and after that we have three hyperlinks. Among them, two of hyperlinks have the attribute target. Now, when we need to give some properties for only those elements which have this target attribute, for this we have to use this attribute selector. In our style tag, let's add a property A, and for giving the attribute selector, we will use the large brackets, and inside this we will give the attribute name. Like for now, we are just going to targeting those A tags or hyperlinks which have this target attribute. So inside this large bracket, we have to type the attribute name like target, and we can give any properties for them like background color orange. Now we can see that among our three hyperlinks, only the two hyperlinks Tutor Pratik.tk and google.com has applied the background color orange, because in first hyperlink we don't have the attribute target applied, but in these two hyperlinks we have applied this target attribute inside this A tag. So when we use this attribute selector, in our case we give the target attribute name for our A element, only the background color properties will be applied which have this tag attribute inside this A tag. If I give the target attribute for this first link too, we can see that the first link is also applied by this background color orange. Similarly, if you want to go more deeper to select your targeted element, like among these three links, we have two links which have this target attribute. And on these two hyperlinks, the value for this target attribute is _blank for the second link, and for the third hyperlink, we have the value _top for the target attribute of the third hyperlink. So by using this attribute selector, we can do more deeper selection. For example, we can also give the value for this attribute like target equal to _blank. Now we can see that the background color orange is only applied for this second hyperlink only, because the second hyperlink has only the value of target attribute _blank. Similarly, if you want to select those HTML elements which have some specific words as a value, for checking this, let's give some title for our hyperlinks. Title: this is my website. Title: this is my another website. And for the third hyperlink, we will give the title Google. And for using specific attribute selector, we have to use a sign till, and for the value, let's give the website and change the attribute to title. Here we have A element, and inside this we applied a title attribute till equal to website. This makes only those A elements will be selected which have the title with a specific word website. So here in our HTML, we gave this website word for this first and second hyperlink. But in the third hyperlink, we do not have this website word inside this title attribute. So when we save this, we can see that the first and second hyperlinks are only affected by this background color because it has the word website in its title attribute. But in the third hyperlink, we do not have this word website inside its title attribute. Whenever you want to use a select elements with the specific attribute starting with the specific value only, we can change this attribute selector as attribute then 5 equal to and give the value like underscore top. Now this symbol indicates to select those elements only which have this specific attribute starting with the specific value top. So when we use this attribute selector, it will select only those A elements which have the attribute target with a value underscore top. Similarly, we can also use a selector which selects elements whose attribute's value begins with a specific value, like title, tab sign, equal to, and under value, let's give the first word like this and save it. Now we can see that we have this word started in the title of our hyperlinks on the first hyperlink, second hyperlink, and there is no words that started from this word in the third hyperlink. That's why it only affected on the first and second hyperlinks only. As by using this cap sign for selecting those elements which are started by this word, we can also choose those elements which are ended by this specific word. Like let's change this ending word value to Google, and for selecting those elements which have ended with this value word, we have to give a symbol $. Now we have the background color affected only for this third hyperlink because this word Google is only present at the end of the title of this third link only. If we give the Google word in the last of this first hyperlink's title, we can see that this background property is also applied for our first hyperlink too. And finally, if you want to choose those all elements which have either in the front or at the end or in the middle, anywhere if it finds this word inside this title or any attribute, you have to give the property for all of 10 elements. We can use the sign asterisk instead of this $sign that we used before. Like let's give the value only E. So it takes the letter E in all of the contents of this title attribute of all these A tags. If it finds the E inside the value of this title attribute in any A tags, the background color orange will be applied for those HTML elements. Now here we can see that all three hyperlinks are applied with this background color because the letter E that we given is present in the title of all three links. Like we can see that E is present here in the website word, and in second link we can also see this E, and also in the third hyperlink we can see this E letter contains in this Google word. So when we change this E letter to A for the title of this third link and save it, now we can see that there is no E letter in the title of the third link. That's why there is no affected by this background color property for our third link. So by using these various attribute selectors, it is very useful and important for styling forms without class or ID. That's all for today. If you have any questions or any queries you want to ask with me, you can feel free to ask me through our comment box. So in next session videos, we will come again with new interesting topics. Until then, take care. Goodbye.